Hello everyone, I'm Dulaji Dalarachi, a final year PhD student at Humanize Lab, Monash University, Australia. I'm presenting our work titled The Influence of Human Aspects on Requirements Engineering Related Activities, Software Practitioners' Perspective. So starting with a little bit of background into our research, we define human aspects in software engineering as human-related aspects that can become make or break issues in software projects. Researchers have investigated various human aspects in various software engineering contexts, such as personality, emotions, gender, culture, communication issues, and many more, where they identify the impact on software engineering for better or worse. So, to get an overview of this area, we conducted a systematic literature review on existing studies of human aspects impacting requirement engineering and identified that human aspects and the impact on requirement engineering activities are still an area that has had relatively limited attention. Also, from our SLR, we identified that the majority of the studies are academic based, and among them, personality and motivation have not been investigated much in relation to requirement engineering. So, inspired by our SLR findings, we wanted to better understand the perspectives of current industry practitioners on the influence of various human aspects on requirement engineering related activities to know whether our findings in our systematic analysis are in line with real world experiences of software practitioners. So, in this research, we focus on identifying software practitioners' perspectives on the influence of human aspects when involved in requirement engineering related activities, specifically focusing on personality and motivation. So we used a survey research method to conduct this study as we wanted to reach out to a broader population of software practitioners to know their perspectives. The target population of our survey was software practitioners involved in requirement engineering related activities, and after finalizing the survey, we advertised it as an anonymized one. We conducted 2 rounds of data collection where we collected data from 111 software practitioners worldwide. We used a mixed method approach for the data analysis as we collected both qualitative and quantitative data. The socio-technical grounded theory was used to analyze the qualitative data, and basic statistical analysis was used to analyze the quantitative data. Talking about our participants, the most common roles are software engineers and business analysts, while there are a considerable amount of senior software engineers, IT project managers, and senior business analysts. And the majority of the participants were male, and most of the practitioners use agile software development methods such as Scrum and Kanban, whereas the rest follows the traditional software development methods or a combination of both. Also, the majority of them have 1 to 5 years of experience doing requirement engineering related activities, and their age range is between 26 to 35 years. As we wanted to know participants' perspective on the influence of human aspects on requirement engineering related activities, we provided a list of human aspects that we identified from our previous study and asked to rate to what extent those human aspects are important considering their influence on requirement engineering. So as shown on the left side of this diagram, motivation, domain knowledge, attitude, communication skills, and personality were rated as highly important human aspects considering their influence on requirement engineering. We also investigated the impact of motivation on requirement engineering activities, and by analyzing their open text answers, we identified a set of factors that motivate software practitioners when involved in requirement engineering related activities. So as shown on the right side of this diagram, these motivation factors were categorized into 2 groups, collaborative and human aspects and technical aspects. Also, we were able to identify the impact of these motivation factors, and according to that, the majority of the factors positively affect, while some factors have both positive and negative effect when involved in requirement engineering activities. We also obtained the participants' perspectives on the impact of personality on effective performance of requirement engineering activities, where the majority thinks that the success of requirement engineering activities depends on the people involved in those activities, as their different characteristics impact requirement engineering in various ways. So, to identify what are the key individual human characteristics that are important the people involved in requirement engineering related activities, we used a set of individual characteristics from the well-known five-factor model of personality, representing five broad personality dimensions that describe a range of characteristics of individuals. So we have considered 10 characteristics and asked the participants to refer to themselves and their team members and rate the importance of these characteristics when conducting requirement engineering activities. So among them, enthusiastic about what they do, display intellectual curiosity, strive for high achievements, and willingness to try new things were rated as highly important characteristics. Referring to the characteristics of their team members, there were no such big difference except for one more characteristics that they have mentioned, which is have kind, generous, trustworthy, helpful qualities as a highly important one. We also wanted to dig deeper into identifying the factors that can make requirement engineering related activities less effective to see whether there is a link between human aspects and effective requirement engineering related activities. By analyzing open text answers, we identified a set of factors that can make requirement engineering activities less effective. Interestingly, most of these factors were just opposite factors that we identified as motivation factors, and we were able to categorize these factors into two similar groups, collaborative and human aspects and technical aspects, while identifying the majority of these factors related to collaborative and human aspects. As we try to identify software practitioners' perspectives on which human aspects most impact requirement engineering related activities, both positively and negatively. So this led us to wanting to get a better idea of how practitioners' requirement engineering related activity performance is actually measured and how they think an individual's performance should be measured. They mentioned that all these factors are highly important in measuring the performance of the people involved in requirement engineering activities, and among them, clarity and correctness of the requirements identified were rated as the highest. As a conclusion, I'd like to highlight some implications that we have identified through this study. So referring to some implications for practice, emphasizing the role of human aspects in requirement engineering is important, as according to the responses of the software practitioners, various human aspects influence their performance when involved in requirement engineering activities, and the majority are considered to be highly important by them. So it is important that these human aspects should be paid more attention by software practitioners when involved in requirement engineering related activities. For example, identifying a set of factors that motivate or demotivate software practitioners, focusing on personality characteristics individually and as a team when involved in requirement engineering activities would be beneficial for the software team to improve these positive impacts while finding solution to mitigate the negative impacts. So referring to some implications for researchers, we can do more in-depth studies on various human aspects to collectively and over time build a body of knowledge around human aspects on requirement engineering. Since the focus of our study was on software practitioners, specifically those involved in requirement engineering, we recommend studying clients or end users' perspectives on the influence of human aspects, as requirement engineering activities depend on them as well. Also, our survey study aimed to gain an overview of the key factors influencing practitioners when conducting requirement engineering, with a particular focus on motivation and personality. So we only collected some basic demographic and contextual information. So detailed investigation can be done on future studies related to contextual factors such as team size, organization size, and the type of requirement engineering they are involved in. And finally, it is clear that there is a number of human aspects that come into play when considering their impact on requirement engineering. However, there is no comprehensive and agreed taxonomy of human aspects in software engineering in general and in requirement engineering in particular. So we propose that there is a need to develop a taxonomy of human aspects that can be used to clearly define, study, and explain human aspects in requirement engineering. I'm looking forward to your questions during the live presentation, and I'd like to thank Monash Faculty of IT, PhD Scholarships, and ARC Laureate Fellowship Program for funding this research. Thank you very much for listening to this video.